Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic Rider. So today I want to talk to you about going up and down hills on your gaited horses. When you go uphill, and it's a slight incline, you can just sit there and that's fine and that horse can get up there. But when you're going up something very steep, it's very helpful for you to get up into something called a half seat. They also call it a two-point position. And it's the position you see the English people doing when they're going over a jump. So and the reason they call it two-point is because there's 2 points of contact, and that's your thighs, and that's it. So normally you're riding like this. So when you go up a hill, you're going to squeeze your thighs together, push yourself up, kind of arch your back, so your seat is a couple inches out of the saddle, but it's up, it's not touching the saddle, but you still have your center of gravity behind the horse's wither, and then your hands are out in front of you like this. If it's very steep, or it's a jump, it's a good thing to grab that horse's mane halfway up his neck and hold on. So if he jumps the obstacle, or if he's launching himself up the hill, by holding on to that mane will help you stay up out of the saddle so you don't fall back as the horse is trying to climb up. If you have that weight up in the front, it helps the horse. If you're leaning back as they're going up the hill, sometimes it'll actually chuck you forward, but you're also making it much harder for your horse. And you want to get up the hill, you guys don't want to roll backwards. So once you're up in that half seat, if you have good balance and you can keep yourself up, well then it's helpful to steer if you need to steer around something while you're doing it. So you can always hold the mane with one hand, steer with the other, switch and hold the mane with this hand, and then steer with the other while you're staying up. And you're trying to stay up out of the saddle until you get up over the obstacle. So this will look weird, but pretend this is the saddle, because once I'm up in the saddle, I'll show you, but you probably won't see it very well. Maybe we'll roll this up some too so you can see. So you're on your saddle, right? So you're sitting, and you're going to get up in your half seat, so you're going to squeeze your thighs together, push yourself up, so you can see, hopefully, that my butt is slightly out of the pretend saddle here. And then you're holding yourself up like this. So you're down, you see a hill, you're like, oh, it's really steep, I got to help him. So you're going to get up in your half seat, stay in position, and then grab the mane, and then steer as needed. This is called an open rein, when you're just bringing the rein to the side. You don't want to pull back as you're going up a hill, because that will not help your horse at all. So you just want to use the open rein so you can steer, but you're not slowing the horse down. Now, when you're going downhill, it's the opposite. If it's very steep, you need to loosen your rein. If that horse wants to put its head down, let them put their head down so they can see better. Remember, they see different than us. So if they want to put their head down, what it means is they can't see very well in the position you have their head, and they're trying to check out the footing and keep both of you safe. So you want to let the rein go looser. Let them put their head all the way down. And this, again, I'm talking about something steep or going downstairs, or you got to off-road, you got to go around a tree, which you hear me do in a lot of my sail videos. So when you do that, you're going to let the rein go longer, but you'll still keep your, contact up here. So same thing if you need to pull back to try to slow them down if they start running down the hill, or you can pull out if you just need to steer and not slow them down. With your body position, you're trying to keep your feet out in front of you and your weight back on their hind quarter to help them. If your weight is on their front end and they're trying to shimmy down a hill, it's going to be harder for them. They might trip, and then with all that weight forward on them, again, they could fall over, you could fall over. So when you're going down a hill, as you're sitting on your saddle, think of pushing your feet out in front of you. This is not the most comfortable thing. And your rein's like this, but lean way back. I can't even do it because this thing's uncomfortable. So you're going to be leaning way back, okay? And then let them do their job. So again, that half seat will help you if you're going up steep inclines, you're going up stairs, you got to jump over something. Leaning back and letting their head go lets them go down obstacles, steep hills, or going downstairs. And again, let them use their head to look. Same thing when you get to water and they want to look at it, let them look at it. They're trying to do their own little safety check to make sure it's safe for both of you. All right, so you're just sitting here, you're riding, and you see there's a really steep hill coming up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze your thighs together, push yourself up, the weight goes down your leg into your heels, and your leg stays underneath you. If your leg is falling too far forward or too far back, you won't stay up there. So if you're like this, you're gonna fall forward. If your leg goes forward, you're gonna fall backwards. So your heel needs to be right underneath your hip. And again, I'm standing up slightly, but you might not be able to see it. So a couple of inches or the size of my fist, I'm standing up. So now you're up here. Again, if I'm going up something and I don't have to steer, I'm just gonna grab his mane and you're gonna look up. You don't wanna look down because your head weighs at least 10 pounds, unless you have a bigger brain. Because if you put the weight down, it makes it harder for the horse. So you wanna look up, and you want your rein short enough you can steer, but you also want it loose enough that when you grab mane, you're not pulling on their mouth, and they can use their head and their neck to go up. So that's, when you think of when they're jumping, they give what's called a crest release right here. But again, if you don't do this all the time, those jumpers, riders have good balance, you might not, so you want to grab the mane. Once you're up here, then you can use a leading rein. If there is a tree on my left and we're jumping up the hill, I can pull out with my right rein to steer, I can pull out with my left rein to steer. And then again, you can always hold the mane with one hand. So you want to practice this at home when you're bored or talking to your friends, so you get better at it. When you get good, you can take your feet out of the stirrups and you can stand up just using your thighs. You won't come up as high, at least I'm not, but then you'll be able to do it. So if you lose a stirrup or something, you'll be fine. So now let's talk about getting going downhill. So if I'm going downhill and I see it's really steep and I'm like, whoa, I don't know if we can do this, but I see the other people went, so we're okay. I'm gonna let my rein go longer. I might even let it go all the way to the buckle, but still be able to steer. So I can still pull back if I need to. I can still go to the sides if I need to. Remember, if you pull back, that's gonna slow the horse down. If you just need to steer, you're just gonna go out with your reins. What I'm gonna do is push my feet forward, so if the horse started tumbling or something, I can get my weight back. And then I'm gonna lean back. Then you got this thing, they call it what? Oh, shit horn, right? So if you're really scared, you can put the reins in one hand once you make sure the horse is gonna steer, or you can neck rein him, hold that horn, lean back, push your feet out in front of you, and you can actually push yourself back in the saddle. And the same thing, you wanna look up. You don't wanna be looking down like this as they're going down that obstacle, because that weight forward makes it harder on the horse. So lean back, push your feet out in front of you. You can hold the horn, lean back, steer, or if it's something very narrow, you might have to steer like this, but you're gonna keep your eye on the person who's up in front of you, or stare at a tree or something else. Don't look down at the ground, okay? So that's how you go up and down hills. I've seen a lot of people don't get out of the saddle when it's really steep, and then the horse has a major problem, or going downhill, they won't let them use their head and neck, or they don't lean back, and then it makes it very hard for the horse. So it's all about trying to help your horse get you through those obstacles.